Hey there, magazine news and gossip readers. Have you ever watched someone shine so brilliantly that you wondered how long before darkness tries to swallow that glow? Have you ever asked yourself whether the people closest to someone can, perhaps unknowingly, block out their light? What happens when the very love that's celebrated becomes the force that dims not only joy, but truth? This is not fiction. This is the extraordinary story of Yaman, a man whose inner fire once seemed impossible to shadow, whose presence once commanded admiration for intellect, discipline, and sheer magnetism. And now, at the heart of this narrative, stands Sara Bluma, a woman who, over time, came to eclipse his light not because his brilliance faded, but because the world was seduced by the power of narrative. For years, Yaman was celebrated as one of cinema's most charismatic, hard-working, disciplined stars. Every appearance, every performance was polished, every interview thoughtful, every public moment a testament to someone grounded and admirable. But lately, things changed. And understanding that change isn't just dealing with gossip, it's about peeling back layers of psychology, loss, illusion, love, and manipulation. So what really happened? How did the man the world saw as confident, radiant, intellectual, beloved by many, become embroiled in a storm of public relations, emotional turbulence, rumors, accusations? What made him lose himself in the whirlwind while adored by millions? Let's dive in. Sara Bluma, a DJ. A symbol once of empowerment, of independence, of raw and unapologetic freedom. She was louder than her beats, bolder than her stage presence. She became more than a partner. Her name eventually outshone cans in certain circles. But fame and love are tricky, especially when the line between support and takeover blurs. It starts harmlessly, a dramatic story leaked, a narrative shaped. Accusations are made. Sara's ex-husband features in public allegations. She is painted as a violent woman. But then questions, if she were truly violent, why would the father continue to let their daughter live with her? Why would any father allow abuse? These inquiries were almost never asked. The media lapped up the narrative without pause. The spectacle began. Then Yaman steps in like the savior, the hero, the strong man defending the weak. Supporter of women, a voice of strength, protector. Everyone wants to believe in heroes. But what if that hero's cape is made of PR smoke and mirrors? Fast forward. The tabloids are full of stories, late-night partying, jealousy, public fights. Rumors swirl around alcohol, anger. And the more the stories come out, the more those closest seem to feed off them. And the center of the spiral? Can himself, increasingly doubtful, increasingly estranged from the raw, vibrant self that fans once fell in love with. Think about this. A man at the peak of his career. Loved, respected, global. And then, overnight, or so it seems, his image becomes splintered. It's not one moment, but many small ones. A leaked text here, an angry evening there, whispers of, could he be different than who he was? Is it a coincidence? Does character change overnight? Unlikely. This is how someone's essence can be chipped away, a little narrative here, a public whisper there. Use the name recognition. Use the love and trust. And when the light begins to flicker, perhaps the person shining it starts questioning their own power. Am I still as special as they say? They ask. And then something dangerous starts, the dance of manipulation. It might feel like love. It might feel like rescue. It might feel essential. But love, real love, should build strength, not steal it. Yaman has always been a man of intellect, culture, discipline. He's read, he's traveled, he's represented his country abroad with dignity. But lately the scene's shifted. Rumors of violence, alcohol, anger rose. Nightlife, tension, confrontation. His face in public, once warm, expressive, passionate, grew distant, tired, cold. The disengagement showed. The sparkle dimmed. And the fans? They noticed. They mourned. They felt that the man next to Sara wasn't the Ken they knew. Somewhere along this path, something was lost. Maybe it was trust. Perhaps it was peace. Maybe it was his own sense of self. True love does these things. It elevates you. Yet this relationship squeezed the air out of Ken's literal chest. It expands your heart. But instead, his world grew smaller, defined by narratives, expectations, and growing shadows. It liberates you. But this bond chained him to rumors, to public perception, to constant scrutiny. Could it be that neither of them is entirely innocent? Perhaps. But there is a stark contrast. One used the love struggle to try to save someone, the other used the struggle to fuel their own ascent. Money, fame, success, they glitter, but they don't heal. And worst of all is having someone pretend to love you while quietly consuming your soul. The decay happens slowly. You don't always notice it from the outside. This is what Yaman seems to be living. The price of believing in someone so completely. Of being entranced by a spark and not seeing the shadows it casts. Of feeling the pull of emotional hunger and giving more than you should, believing that giving more is love. But there is hope. There must be. Life, even in its harshest lessons, whispers to you. Rise. Even when everybody's watching and the world seems to prefer the drama to the man, a moment comes when you look in the mirror and see not the darkness, but the spark still glowing. When you remember who you were before the stories wrote circles around you. Yaman has strength. He has survived being painted as someone's accessory in someone else's narrative. He has survived whispers, rumors, the shifting shadows of love intertwined with deception. This is not just a story of heartbreak. This is one of possible rebirth. Magazine news and gossip wants nothing more than to seek and shine again, not as the victim of stories, not as the character in someone else's script, but as his true self. Because here's what's real. A love that's true doesn't need cameras. You don't have to be someone's token. A real strength is reclaiming your soul, even when the world believes your light belongs to someone else. Yaman deserves to be more than a headline. He deserves to be known again, authentically, purely, fiercely. And as terrible as this storm has been, perhaps this pain was a turning point, a passage that will lead him back to something truer. So, to Ken, the world is watching. Not just the ones who gossiped, but the ones who still believe. This is your moment. Let the darkness recognize the fire it tried to extinguish. Let your soul reclaim its light. Let your voice speak in the silence behind the cameras. Because in the end, when the noise fades, when the illusions fall away, it's your heart that will endure. Your real self. Your rightful love. Your unbroken light. And I believe you will shine again.